Hello, Little Mix Doom, and welcome to your deck review. I see we are working with custom commanders this time, who I think I've looked at least one of them on a custom card stream. So it's not these two. It is Ohen, Arcane Progenitor, who makes us 1/1s whenever we cast an artifact or enchantment, and Vantis, Master Displacer, who self-bounces on upkeep and cost reduces the next spell we cast with that thing. So first problem I see, they're both 4 mana, right? They exist in the same spot in your curve. That's kind of solved by Vantis being just way, way better than Ohen. I presume at some point we will want to cast Ohen, but for the most part, Azorius has so many good, like, ETBs that if you're doing, self bounce, self recast, and you get cost reduction, I think for most of the game, I would be planning to rock with, like, I'm I would just do Avantis shit. I'm doing Avantis stuff, and then maybe late game, maybe late game I'll do Ohen. I do think they are, and I promise I won't bemoan them for too long because they're just the custom commanders. Another point of tension is Vantis is cost reducing the next spell. Ohen super wants you to storm. If this is for bracket 2, it doesn't really matter because you can go as slow as you want. But as we get into bracket 3, or if we like really super want to do the thing, it looks like Vantis wants you to cast one solid permanent and then hold up interaction. You're doing the Azorius like mid-range plan of I'm bouncing my very good ETB creature, I am playing them for 1 mana, and then I am either double spelling something or I am holding up removal. Like Vantis wants you to play, no, not Floodpit's Drowner, Overlord of the Flood Pit. Like, oh me, oh my. I play this for impending. The turn before Vantis, I play Vantis, I bounce this, and then I play it for 3 mana, but now it's the full creature. Oh! And I don't really think we want to take a turn off to get a 1/1 with Ohen. So, and that's just context that for the purposes of this review, I'm probably going to be treating Ohen as like just for colors, unless I see something crazy. Okay, see, I mean, good job with the MDFCs, but like that's something crazy. That's some Pepe Silva shit right there. Buster Sword, fuck yeah. Um, what's this curve? I think you're in trouble. I'm stopping the car right here. Unless I see like 15 mana rocks, I think 35 land, 35 lands, a curve that gets to 4 and 5 pretty regularly, and 2 commanders who want to be played at 4 and 5. I think that is brutal. Like I think this is a deck you want to be at like 38, maybe even 40. If you're going to be down at 35, I want to see like, maybe we'll see. Maybe I might just be talking shit. Let me go to, maybe you have these tagged. All right, so we have Arcane Signet, Azorius Signet, great start. Felwar Stone, Torque, Talisman of Progress. All right, 5. Personally, I hate a 3 mana rock in this. I hate a 3 mana rock in this deck because you want to get into the party, and I don't think you have a massive shortage of. Maybe you do have a massive shortage of 2 mana ramp, but like this is the type of deck where I would even like under duress understand. Under duress. I would be doing Wayfarer's Bauble. Well, maybe would I? Let me think about that for a moment. An upkeep trigger, because what's making me want to go fast is an upkeep trigger, so it's already slow by design. But no, we need the thing we want to replay. We need the thing we want to replay on board. So actually, I'm gonna retract that. That is gonna make me advocate for more lands because the timeline that I want for this deck now, thinking about how this is gonna work, I grow more convinced we don't want to cast this first, if ever. But I think the timeline you want is like Turns, hold on, this. Ooh, that's way too thick. Yeah. Turns 1 through 3, we need a good flicker target, and that's all we need. It's all we need in the whole world. I think ramping to our commanders doesn't help supremely. Um, and then turn 4, it is V-Boy, and then turn 5, it is reduce, reuse, recycle on whatever our great flicker target was. So we're looking at CMC 3 or less stuff that we want to recast. This is crazy to see first. Removal, that's very cute. Removal that we can reuse and sort of keep applying to the biggest threat on the table. Very greedy, I think. This is a very, very bad flicker target. I think the quality for me when it comes to flicker targets in white is stuff they can add to our hand, stuff that can develop our board, everything else. This technically develops our board because we get a 0/4, and then for 1 more mana, we can get a +1/+1 counter when a non-creature, non-land permanent enters, which is not just not a phenomenal rate, IMO. When this case enters, choose something you don't control. Each creature you control deals 1 damage to that creature. Okay. I can kind of see that, but that doesn't really come online unless we're playing both commanders, and I think playing both commanders is phenomenally clunky in this deck. Okay, on ETB, make a bunch of heroes. That's great. Oh, okay, this is exactly what you want to reuse. Yeah, this is like, I could play this on turn 3 for 1 hero. Play Vanis or whoever it is. Vantis. Bounce it. Reuse it. Confounding Conundrum. It draws a card. I said adding cards to hand worked. Ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. I do not think you can get away with this. Same thing for Court of Antris. I would argue like any 4-mana enchantment is under extreme suspicion from yours truly, because I would rather continue to curve out into a 5-mana enchantment that is better. So whenever it or another non-token enchantment ETBs, make a 1/1. When the final chapter ability of a saga you control triggers, make a 4/4. How many sagas do we have? We have 6. Absolutely not. I think you massively overrate how many spells you are able to cast, or I think you are talking about stuff you can do on like turn 10, at which point, you don't need to improve it, because if you're playing in Minecraft creative mode, go nuts. You just play whatever cards are the cutest. Elspeth is cute, but like the thing about reusing sagas is this is just 5 mana removal for the most part. You maybe get like 1 turn of annoying them. Because is this untap upkeep? So you wouldn't even get step 2, right? If we chose to bounce this, you're just doing like, okay, let me get a cheap reusable removal piece. At which point, Solitude is just kind of like gently mogging you in the corner. And I think your response to that would probably be, oh, well, Solitude's a creature, and I want to play non-enchantment creatures because I want it to trigger, there was something I saw in here. Because I want it to trigger Builder's Talent, and I want it to trigger Historian's Boon. And I think that is where we're going to stretch the deck too far, no matter what power level we're at. I'm going to remind you, a deck can do 1 thing great, it can do 2 things okay, it can do 3 things and every deck does 4 things terribly. And so if we're committed to I want to have good ETB targets to self bounce. That is one thing. I want them to be enchantments. That's maybe what we can do. At which point, I guess we can retake the monarchy, but this is really 4 mana, draw 1 card. Like it's all just a little bit lacking because we don't have anything in the deck that will preserve the monarchy for us. We have a 2/3 with ward. We have a 3/3, and we have maybe some 1/1s. Like it's very, very easy to just rip damage into us. Now, Kiora Best the Sea God, I like more because this develops our board instantly. And if every turn we can play, what would this be, a 5 mana 8/8? That's not the craziest thing ever, but that is consistent board development. I don't believe in knowledge is power. I don't believe you're going to be drawing as many cards as you think in this deck. Love Song of Night and Day is really, really cute. Even cuter considering the read ahead. I do think this is just like 1 mana collusion, draw 2. When Spreading Seas enter the battlefield, draw a card. Okay, so we have another cantrip that we can reuse. Sure. Insane and irresponsible. I do not believe in this, or I only believe in this in the context of we're waiting a very long time to cast Vantis, then cast Ohen, then beginning to do the Vantis thing, which just worries me. Like if we wanted to believe strongly in the Vantis and Ohen together, what I would want to see is your curve has like every 2-drop flicker target, every like good 2-drop ETB you can get your hands on, which you have a number of them. You have like Spreading Seas. I saw at least one other 2 mana enchantment that does this, but I think you would have to come off of this I don't want them to be creatures angle, and I think you would have to accept overlap on things that are like, maybe you can find a good artifact creature, maybe you can find a good enchantment creature. I know for a fact you could do Spirited Companion, because then the curve we want to do is turn 1 I do nothing, bracket 2 bracket 3, turn 1 I do nothing, turn 2 I am either ramping or I am playing a good 2-drop, or I am playing a 2-drop ETB, sorry, not good 2-drop. Turn 3 I am playing Vantis. Turn 4, and maybe this is a turn slower whether or not you ramped, but after the turn I play Vantis, I bounce the good ETB, I've hit all my land drops, I play Ohen with 1 open mana, and I replay my 2-drop ETB. I think you have to be very, 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 very strict about that. Much stricter than this curve currently is. And if we intend to cast both of these boys, I would argue that basically any 4-drop in the deck is a mistake. Hardest line I will set. Because contrary to a lot of other decks where you could argue for your commander has a different spot in the curve, you know, like I can play good 4-drops because I might want to delay my commander. I think the fact that you've gone to the trouble of making custom commanders and the fact that most of your deck seems to be built around both of their abilities triggering, I don't really think we can ever afford to not cast these guys. So I would be like almost entirely out on 4-drops, and I would be incredibly strict on 3-drops too. Like the 3-drop has to be worth not playing my commander on turn 3. Like it has to be worth not playing ramp to hit my commander on turn 3. There are some obvious 3-drops that I'm not going to actually recommend you put in the court in this game, but so that the comments aren't like Maultown thinks there's no good 3-drops in the world. Like obviously Rhystic Study is a good enough 3-drop. Um, if you wanted to play Game Changers, which it doesn't look like you want to, Smothering Tithe would probably be a good enough 4-drop. I don't think Trouble in Pairs is a good enough 4-drop. I I don't think Underseller's Sweep is a good enough 5-drop. I don't think Monarchy, Initiative, and Dungeon. I think that is an extra layer to the cake that your base layers are not sturdy enough to support. Like we can support. I'm gonna play two clunky 4-drop commanders. I'm gonna play enchantments. You can even lean towards non-creature enchantments over creature enchantments. I think I'm going to like the primary way I'm going to extract value is via initiative and entering the dungeon. I think that is where the train's going off the rails. All right, and then we've got some instant stuff, which I don't totally doubt this because eventually we will be holding up mana. We probably aren't holding up mana till like turn 6. Keep that in mind. I doubt we're ever holding up Sublime Epiphany mana, but stranger things have happened. Beautiful. We do have the Overlords. We have a clone, which is very cute. I do not understand our reasoning for this at all. Does this make soldiers? Of course it does. Of course they're both soldiers. Adorable. Yeah, this guy's fucking great. If 2 or more creatures ETB'd under your turn, you draw a card and gain 2 life. I think that's very possible, right? You have 1 enchantment creature or 1 artifact creature and you're already done. We do have Spirited Companion, beautiful. We have Summon Bahamut, which is very funny. Knights of the Round I do think works. Sure on the mages. I don't believe in this at all as a bounce target. Lembas I believe in. That's like, hey, give me my land drop every turn. I have a 0 mana cantrip. Sure. Bident I don't believe in. Buster Sword I kind of have to believe in because it's fucking Buster Sword. We have another clone which isn't the worst thing. I just don't. I think there's almost certainly something better we could be doing. Sure. I don't believe in this, but I don't think it's gonna break the deck in half. I really don't like our 3-mana rocks. I really don't like them. I think the 3-mana rocks should probably, because at that point you just want them to be a land drop. Like they're not. I don't think a 3-mana rock meaningfully accelerates anything for you because if you just hit your land drop, right, it means turn 4 you get to play your commander with 1 more open mana than you otherwise would have had. And if you don't get your land drop, it gets you there. But I think you've been tricked into running these because you have an incredibly, incredibly greedy land base. I mean, maybe if you view it as like, okay, well, it's a 1 mana trigger for Ohen. I would still be looking to make as many of these as 2 mana cards as possible because if they're 2 mana cards, even if they're not phenomenal, OTAG ramp type artifact commander Azorius mana value 2. Like Cold Steel Heart at least plays you a commander on turn 3. And Cold Steel Heart's like bad. Fractured Power Stone can play you a commander on turn 3, so can Goldmere. I know there's a Blue Mirror, there's Hedron Crawler, there's Mannequin. Like all of these are stuff where we can at least get the game plan going a little bit sooner. Because if we go turn 3 Vantis and we have a mirror or a mannequin or something on the table, we can bounce it, and then Ohen costs 2 less, and then we can probably double spell something with Ohen. Like we hit our land drop on turn 4, we go, I have 4 lands, I bounce an artifact, creature, mana rock. I cost reduce Ohen because they're also a creature. I have 2 mana floating. I play my artifact, creature, mana rock, and I get my first soldier. Then I've developed my board a little bit. I continue to set up like a free thing I can cast every turn to trigger one of my commanders. What's Wedding Ring do? An ETB, if it was cast, target opponent makes a token of it. That is a very, very cute interaction, sure. Thopter Shop, whenever one or more artifact creatures die, draw a card, triggers only once each turn. Don't believe in this at all. I think we are just, I think we must be ignoring good Azorius ETBs. Let me look at, I think like Cloud Seeker. Absolutely not. Spirited Companion. I just need the tagger for is a good ETB. What? That's crazy. How is has good ETBs not a... Maybe Flood Pits will have it. That's crazy. Well, to Scryfall Advanced we go. So we want mana value, not price. Get out of here. We want 2 and 3 drops to start out with. Oh, hold on. I'm not being, I need greater than or equal to 2, less than or equal to 3. There. We have Knight of the White Orchid. We have Ichor Wellspring that would draw us a card. We have Skyclave Apparition that would work as removal. There is Charming Prince. There is Claim Jumper that would get us our land drops. There is Wellspring that would get us our land drops. You could be doing Candlekeep Sage for sure. You have 2 commanders and you might bounce one of them to play the other. Holy Cryogen Relic. This would be insane for you. Jill Shiva's Dominant would also be absolutely ridiculous. Just as a control piece, because you can go turn 3, play her, turn 4, Vantis, turn 5, bounce her, cost reduce Ohen by 2, play her again. And then we have Conundrum. We have Scouting Hawk, which kind of works too. Okay, yeah, yeah. So I think overall, um my gripe with this deck is I think we have delved too deeply. We have stared too far into the abyss of, oh, it has to be non-creature too. I don't think we have to, like, we can still play artifact creatures, enchantment creatures, but I think there are a couple good, like, 2 and 3 mana flicker targets that we are deviously ignoring. And I think once you get to the point where between turn 1 and 3, I have played a flicker target or I have played ramp, everything from there you can figure something out. You have enough good, like, big expensive shits that eventually you will draw them, you will cost reduce them by bouncing something else, you will play Knights of the Round for 4 turns in a row, and everybody will explode that way. I think your top end's a little bit weak, but I think you have so much stuff you can do that you can overcome that. But I think you need to be much, much tighter on turn 2, good ETB, good or ramp. That's it. Fuck these 4 drops. If it's not a 4 drop, I almost certainly do not want to see it unless it is the stone cold best card ever. Unless it is like, this 4 drop will save my entire game. Fuck that 4 drop. You want 2 drop ramp, or you want a 2 or 3 drop ETB that you can then repeat with Vantis. And we do want a high enough creature density that on turn 4, if we've ramped, we can bounce a creature with Vantis to replay Ohen and double spell with him. On that note, you could do the French twins. I would only do the card draw one. It's probably still too expensive. I don't know what this motherfucker's name is. Set FIC color mana value 4. This guy. Second spell each turn, draw a card. Oh wait, he's a 4-drop. Fuck him. That's his defect, you know. You could maybe cope and seethe for this guy because second spell every turn, draw a card is really, really tasty when you're going to be double spelling almost every turn of the game. But those are the railway tracks we got to get on because right now we're way too scattered. So I wish you the best of luck and I hope you enjoy.